Hello, hello. Jason Ryer here, coming to you from Thailand in the hills northern Thailand in Chiang Mai. I want to talk to you again about one of my favorite topics, which is fasting, diving deeply into health and wellness. Um, I just want to go over a few things, and I want to answer the question of keto versus intermittent fasting, which is better for weight loss. So keto or intermittent fasting, which one's better? So I'll give you an intro. We'll dive into that. We'll talk about the benefits of both, the pros and the cons, and then I'll tell you about my upcoming challenge called the Master Faster Challenge, where we dive deep into fasting, of course. And we also talk about how you get the benefits of ketosis by way of fasting. So yeah, just a little bit to cover here. We'll go through it fairly quickly. My name is Jason Ryer. I run Zen Strength, and through that I do coaching, superhuman potential coaching, and bulletproof coaching, and I offer courses, online courses, currently the Master Faster Challenge, which starts this Sunday, October 4th. So I encourage you to sign up. I'll share a link in the notes, so click that link and find the Master Faster Challenge at Zen Strength. So to the question, keto versus intermittent fasting, which is better for weight loss? This is a great question because I think there's a lot of popularity around the keto diet, a lot of popularity around intermittent fasting, and I think one thing that will really help is clarify, like, what does that mean? So we'll get into that shortly, but first I want to talk about the benefits of both ketosis and fasting, basically going on a keto diet and doing some kind of fasting or intermittent fasting. So it's basically, I talk about weight loss. A lot of people are interested in weight loss, but it's better than weight loss because you burn fat, build strength, detox your body, boost energy and productivity. So these have been my experiences with fasting, and it's helped me a lot. So yeah, what are the pros to the keto diet? So keto, you don't have to, unlike fasting, you don't have to restrict eating times. So you can eat basically whenever you want to. If you're following a ketogenic diet, and you can still be in ketosis. Although keep in mind that there are benefits to restricting the timing of your foods. So I'll talk about that in a bit. And so what are the advantages of fasting? So with fasting, you don't have to restrict what you eat, like carbs, for example. So in ketosis, as you probably know, you have to severely restrict carbohydrates. And with fasting, one of the advantages is that you can actually get into ketosis by way of fasting. So you don't have to restrict your diet, and you can get the benefits of ketosis. And what are those benefits? We talked about them earlier. So with ketosis, you're going to preserve more muscle mass. Your brain's going to work better. You're going to have more energy, more productivity. So these sorts of things. And so the problem with fasting is, I've talked about this before, I've done videos on this, you generally have to stick to a schedule and stick to eating times, right? So that's kind of the obvious thing about fasting that I think a lot of people know, is that if you're doing some form of daily time-restricted eating, then a lot of people generally skip breakfast, right? And start eating at noon and stop eating by 8 p.m., for example. So yeah, if somebody invites you to dessert at 8:30, it's well, now I'm beyond my eating window. What do I do? So this is something we deal with in the Master Faster Challenge. It's not that big a deal. Pretty easy solutions to that we dive into. And then also the problem with fasting is that, and this is what I talked about earlier in videos, was that you can basically run into the same problems that you run into fasting with dieting or crash dieting and chronically restricting calories. So that's basically doing fasting in an unhealthy way, where you are chronically restricting calories and you're chronically doing 16/8 or one meal a day, and you're just not getting enough calories. And so you're going to have some problems with that, because that can lower your metabolism. It can do some harm to your endocrine system, your hormones. So there are some dangers there, and we address these in the Master Faster Challenge. Um, so what are the problems with keto? Keto is hard. Like I've tried it a few times, and for me, I haven't had much success with it. I'll be honest, because you do have to cut out carbs almost completely, and that includes almost all fruits. And here in Thailand, we have a lot of tropical fruits, a lot of delicious fruits. I've actually talked to a lot of people and asked them what their favorite fruit is. A lot of people say mango, which is really high in fructose, really high in sugar, and definitely not part of a keto diet, but it is delicious. And then here we eat a lot of rice, and that's full of carbohydrates as well. So this is one of the problems with keto, is you have to cut all these things out. And then also one of the nuances that I think a lot of people miss or don't think about is that with keto you can eat protein, and you probably are eating protein. And if you're eating this throughout the day, then you're not going to get as much of a detox benefit as you would with with fasting. So with ketosis, and you're eating all day, then you're not going to get as much of a detox benefit. So again, there still are advantages to restricting the timing of your food by way of fasting, right? And then you get what's called the keto flu. You may have heard of this. You get flu-like, cold-like symptoms. But also, I've experienced, and a lot of other people have talked about this, is that their libido and their energy goes down. So they have less energy, less interest in a lot of things in life. And then you have potential hormonal balances if you do keto for too long, or you do it in an unhealthy way, let's say. So yeah, and there are a lot of questions around, like, are some people just genetically predisposed to be better off in ketosis and others aren't? So that's a question. Perhaps there's some truth to that. I'm not sure. So one thing I didn't talk about was defining these things. So what is fasting? So fasting is technically not having any kind of food that has calories or energy in it, right? So typically you would do like a water fast and drink water. And with intermittent fasting, what a lot of people really mean when they say that is daily time restricted eating. So essentially restricting the timing of their meals into a smaller window throughout the day. So maybe like 8 hours, and this is the 16-8, where you're fasting for 16 hours and eating within an 8-hour window. So that's what a lot of people mean by intermittent fasting. And we talk about the different definitions, the different types of fasts and intermittent fasts in the Master Faster Challenge. And then what is keto? So keto, generally what I'm referring to here, is getting into a state of ketosis through the foods that you eat. So basically to the point where your liver is producing ketone bodies, ketones for energy, for fuel, by restricting carbohydrates, right? So this is where it is very restrictive, because if you really want to get to that state where you have enough ketones in your blood to technically be in ketosis 100% of the time, then you really have to cut out a lot of the carbs. So that's that. So some of the pros and cons of keto and fasting, intermittent fasting. So what is your solution? So this is the cool thing. So you can do fasting and still get the benefits of ketosis. And in fact, in the Master Faster Challenge, we talk about that. You learn about how you're getting into ketosis by way of fasting and how long that takes. And so kind of like how much you need to get a little bit of ketosis, how much fasting you need to get a lot of ketosis. So we talk about that and do fasting essentially in a healthy way. So with that, I want to tell you more about the Master Faster Challenge. So instead of starting, I know a lot of people are scared about fasting. They think that they have to starve themselves from food for long periods of time. In the Master Faster Challenge, we do this in a very sensible approach, starting basically from zero and progressively working our way up. And the analogy I like to point to is if you go to the gym for the first time, you're not going to pick up the 100-pound or 100-kilo dumbbell and start doing curls. You're going to start small, maybe 5 pounds or 5 kilos, and work your way up. And we do the same thing with the Master Faster Challenge. So start small, and we rapidly learn, and we rapidly move our way up to the point where students can comfortably go 24 hours without food, and some students go well beyond that. So, and what's cool about it is that we have a community. You're doing it with a group of your peers. You get points for completing tasks and prizes. So it's a friendly challenge, a fun challenge. You get support, you get accountability, and then you learn. You learn a lot of cool things. So you learn about the psychology of fasting and feasting with strategies and tactics to control eating habits. You learn about the biology of fasting and feasting and understand what's happening in your body. You learn about exercise and fasting. You learn about maximizing fat burning through ketosis, and we just talked a lot about keto. And then you learn about detoxing and cleansing your body. And that's something we talked about that you may not get necessarily with a purely ketogenic diet. So, and this is by way of autophagy, cleaning up dead and dying cells in your body. And finally, because I'm a certified bulletproof coach, I'm wearing my uniform, I do like to get into biohacking, the topic of biohacking, essentially making your fasting easier and more effective. So giving tactics to do that. And then we go off at the end and talk about, before we finish the program, talk about extended and prolonged fasting. So what it's like to go for multiple days. So kind of setting the expectations that now you can go off and do multiple days of fasting on your own. So all of this lasts 4 weeks, starts on Sunday, October 4th. Sales end at the end of this month. The early bird special, at least, is $300 off for the first 5 students. And we may extend the sales just a little bit longer. We'll see. Reach out to me, let me know. Click on the link, learn about the Master Faster Challenge. Thank you for listening. And yeah, we answered the question, keto versus intermittent fasting, which is better for weight loss? So I hope that helped. And I will hopefully see you in the Master Faster Challenge. Bye-bye.